Hey, this is Jason, supervisor here at TrustRight. Before you get started working on your decision report, I'm going to go around the shop and interview some employees to get their ideas on what the radios are like. So take a look at this video before you get started.
How important is communication in your day-to-day work?
Very. I mean, we gotta know how to put jobs together and what jobs go where to what trucks. And if they don't communicate to us which jobs go to what trucks, then we have no idea how to load people.
What areas of the facility are you in communication with throughout the day?
Really, the pickers back in the shop, the third man on the tables, mostly, and then the office, saying what jobs go to what loads when tables are ready to be picked up, and then we try to get a hold of the pickers if we need help loading or catching loads to lay them down.
Yeah. So, and your radio has to be available at all times to hear people.
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever have difficulty with communicating over the radios?
Yeah. It's hard to hear the radios when we're in the forklifts because the forklifts are loud.
Mm-hmm.
Radios are loud when you're out by yourselves, but inside the noisy forklift it's not really that loud. And then when you're on one side of the building and trying to talk to the pickers on the other side, they can't hear you, or you just get static.
Can you describe that radio a little bit that you got there?
It's a Motorola walkie-talkie with a lapel mics. Some of them have earbud holes so you can put an earbud in them. It would be nice if the office would get earbuds for them that have a built-in mic.
Okay.
So we could keep the radios lower and hear them without problems.
Okay. So as the radio is now, you have to wear it with a clip like that.
Yep.
On your shirt. Okay.
And either people can't hear you because you're in a hurry and you just hit the button and talk, or you can't hear them because you're in the noisy forklift or next to one of the saws or on the other side of the yard or building, and it doesn't work.
Ure. Okay. So do you ever have problems with them with the batteries dying?
Yeah, when we have enough radios, but we don't have enough radios put together right now, I don't think. So that with 2 shifts, they only charge for 3 hours a night, and that's not enough time. So half the time the radios are beeping or dying all day long. A couple days, my radio died 2 hours into the shift, and I didn't even hear any tables call.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go in and get a new radio, which we didn't have any, so I had to charge mine over break.
And how frustrated do you think it is for all the other employees, and especially the office, when they're trying to get a hold of you and you can't hear them, or vice versa, when you're trying to call somebody for clarification on something and you can't hear them?
It's very frustrating because when you can't communicate with them, the tables will get mad because we're not picking up the tables. Well, if we don't hear the tables, we can't really go and pick them up because we're out in the back on top of a job putting it together, and we don't see them right then. I mean, if we drive around and see that it's all banded, we'll pick it up. But
what problems do you have with the radios right now?
The main problem with the radios now is not all of them stay charged like they're supposed to. The batteries are getting wore out, and every once in a while you'll get one and all you hear is static. So I don't know if the frequencies are bad or if just the radio's getting wore out, because they've been around for a while. We've had these radios for a long time.
How long is a long time?
Well, I've been here going on 15 years, and some of these radios have never been replaced. So I don't really know how many they had when I first started. I believe it was maybe 4 or 5 radios, but now they have a radio for every table. If they did update them, hopefully they would get the ones that have the wireless capability where you can just have an earpiece and you just touch it and talk, and they'd be able to, like condensed mic, you wouldn't have to speak into the microphone, because most of them, if you're not speaking right into the microphone, they won't be able to hear you when you're talking.
And how important? So, like, if you're unable to hear each other, does it slow work down? Does it mean there's going to be mistakes made with certain jobs? What are the potential problems if you guys can't communicate properly?
If we can't communicate properly, then say we're moving a load and somebody's not all the way underneath the load when we start to move, and it starts to come off the forks as we're moving, because either he's not in gear going forward with us, or if we're backing up, he's in the wrong gear, he's backing up also, and the load will separate and fall on the ground or on the ties, depending on where it's located. If the main problem is if we can't communicate, would be waiting for pickups on the tables and broken trusses. Because if you can't tell them that it's falling off the forks, they can't hear you, and the load falls on the ground, chances are it's going to break.
How often do you have to use your radios during the day?
I don't know about how many times, it depends what we're building, but you know, every time we need a pickup, need a forklift to help us with something, supervisor, quality control, anything like that, quite a few times. So
Quite a few times. How important is it that everybody's able to hear you on the radio? When you're
yeah,
calling?
very important. If you can't communicate with them, then how are you going to talk to them?
Yep.
If you don't have them, it'd be very hard to get the forklift to come when you need it, or a supervisor.
If you're unable to get a hold of somebody, how does that hinder what you do? In your job?
Yeah, it depends who you're trying to call. If you need a forklift to help you out with something, then it's downtime. Can't really do nothing if you're waiting on somebody. You can't get a hold of them, then yeah, you're waiting.
Do you feel like they're becoming a little obsolete though, and they might need upgraded?
Yeah, definitely wouldn't hurt. Newer is always definitely better, but you know, as long as I guess at the same time, as long as it's not a hindrance in the way that you gotta teach people how to use them a certain way or whatever. At least this is pretty simple, so anybody can use it.
Do you feel like sometimes the distance between the shop and the forklift drivers in the yard makes it difficult for like the radios to actually work properly?
Oh yeah, new ones could definitely help there, you'd think, the longer range, stuff like that. Yeah, definitely.